Alright, what's going on, guys? Connor on Shane, back with another one. I'm just gonna be looking at a few coins, a few projects I've talked about, kind of just a little market update. I just love looking at the charts, guys, every day. We're just gonna be checking out some new ones, some recurring ones, coins I've talked about for a long time. Just gonna check out a bunch here. So as you guys know, NKI, in my opinion, I really think this one is going to absolutely melt faces in the bull run. Talked about it many times. It looks like it's kind of coming back down. It might actually come down, hit a bottom, back around a penny, but I think eventually, when this one does run, this is going to pull something, honestly, kind of like Titanium 22 did, over the last, 3 or 4 months. And if you guys were in Titanium, that we made literally 30-40x on Titanium from the bottom down here. And in my opinion, this is what the chart looked like on Titanium. It had its hype phase, came back down, sat for a little while. Obviously NKI looks a little different. It's going up and down a bit, but came back down. Eventually came back, went right past its all-time high. And eventually started climbing. I don't think this kind of wick is going to happen out of it, but Titanium is still holding, still looking strong, which I'm actually surprised. I thought this would dump very hard. When you have such a big candle like this, I honestly just expected heavy downside here, but Titanium is still holding up. It looks good. We've had I've talked about adult many times on the channel, and it looks like they're starting to come back, which is always good to see. I still have faith in the team. They're still building, delivering. But again, most of these guys are very high risk. You have to understand that, especially if you're going to be investing in any of these micro caps, whether I talk about them or not, whether I call them or not. I really want people to understand the risk with these coins. It's always going to be some sort of gamble, but in my opinion, it's going to be the most calculated that I possibly can calculate on some of these micro caps. An FXI or FX1, if you guys are familiar, this one too. This is one of the most insane plays that I literally missed myself, that I called so many times on the channel. Minimum, it's already done over 10-15x for a lot of people. And I'm so glad that a lot of you guys got in. Because honestly, half the time I don't even care, if I make, money off these, even my own calls. But the fact that you guys can make, really good returns already in such a short time in this bull run, that's what means the most to me. The fact that I'm actually making a lot of you guys a lot of money, that's mainly, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I do what I do, showing you guys micro caps, digging these up for you, doing the research to, really just jump into. But bottom line, like I was saying, FX1, this has just been steady trending to the upside. Looks very strong. We got Topia here, so hi Topia, if you guys are familiar. If you're not, this one I should have called. I should have saw this way back then. Because hi Topia, their team building a game, pretty much what it is, it's like a Minecraft with a lot of Web3 and blockchain integration with a full out economy. And I've actually been a fan of the team, especially the developers behind this, and just like I said, the whole project itself for years. They were out in the last bull run. They actually went by NFT worlds. I actually owned one for a while, but then what they were before is they were integrated into Minecraft. And they were taking some of the source code from Minecraft, implementing Web3 blockchain into it to build literal servers and, different things on Minecraft that implement cryptocurrency, but Minecraft shut that down. And I think they took out any sort of implementation with blockchain. So, their whole project and the premise kind of got taken out, which, is very unfortunate. But what I really liked at the time was seeing that with Topia and having such a big game like that, in Minecraft, there were a lot of projects coming out being built on top of NFT world, like, land plots. And what they were doing is like they were building their own Minecraft economies for each project that was being launched. And every project was, like I said, its own project built on top of NFT worlds. And it was like a whole little movement for a few months, I remember. In my opinion, this was one of the most bullish projects that I was actually in the last bull run. Obviously, until everything, it kind of came down because of what I just told you. But what they've done with Topia is they've taken this into their own hands. They've basically forked, I don't want to say forked Minecraft, but they've built their own sort of open world like that, like a Minecraft, with their own Web3 integration and mechanics, and their own land as well. Pretty much doing the same thing, but without having Minecraft, dealing or having to deal with Minecraft in another business, because now it's their own game. And I bet on the team so heavily in the last bull run for it, or I think it was in 2022 at least. But yeah, I should have known again that they would continue to deliver. They're some of the hardest working, I think, just developers and builders that I've seen in the space in a long time. And I still think that Topia here, I think the market cap's in between anywhere from 50, 60 million upwards of like 80 or 90 right now. But I think this has a lot of juice in it. I give this, throughout the rest of this bull run, this is probably going to be could be easily $1 billion in market cap, upwards of more than that. I think this is going to overtake probably like most metaverse platforms and projects like Sand, like Mana or Decentraland. Because, like, in my opinion, I don't really know anyone that even uses either of those. But I myself, I was a kid who played Minecraft. I played maybe 3 or 4 games total growing up. I was never the kid that would always play a different game every couple days. Like, when I played a game, I was locked in. And sometimes for months, sometimes years. MW2. And, MW2 hands down best COD. I don't care what anyone says. MW2 is the best COD. No question about it. MW2, Black Ops, especially zombies, mainly zombies. For a couple years straight, I only played zombies. I didn't even play online or anything like that. So MW2, zombies, MW3, those are mainly the 3 console games I played. Minecraft was the 4th one that I played for years straight with my friends. And then Fortnite. I went crazy for Fortnite years ago too. Probably the 5 games that I played the most. And when I was very young, Pokemon. Played Pokemon like crazy for years as well. Literally on my Game Boy Advance. But bottom line, what I'm getting at is, seeing a game literally very similar, if not the same thing as a game I used to play growing up. I know how the game works. I know everything about it. And, I can only expect unbelievable things coming out of it, especially when the team is great. I know the game is going to be insane. I think this is going to be a long-term gem as well. Again, it's very high in level right now. I would like to see it dump, even though it is on a little dump here, but like my thesis for just where Bitcoin's going, I think the whole market has a little while to actually like drop a little more. And so if I see something like this on a heavier dip, definitely calling this like I'm going to be jumping in. But bottom line, Topia is a huge play in my opinion. Definitely a nice, solid gaming / metaverse project. And as I usually talk about too on this channel, we got IXS, Revest, Soil. Those are mainly, and Landex. We got like some of my 4 top RWA plays. And Tectum, as you guys know, I've talked about Tectum so many times on the channel too. Tectum's a gem. I think it's just I still think it's gonna correct a little bit more. I got my market here set around $20. If it comes anywhere around this, like I think that's go all in on Tectum and just hold it for the next year and a half. Still another game I've actually been checking up on a lot is Crypto Force. The chart's still in a nice dip, even though we'll see if it loads today. Chart still looks really good from where it's at. I think there's not that much attention on it right now, but still sitting at a couple million in market cap for a long-term gaming project. I think this could be still a great one. They actually just released another token called ECAS. It's it's gonna be a casino, I'm pretty sure, built inside of the literal Crypto Force game, which is wild. And there's just a bunch of different betting. I think horse betting too, but again, don't quote me on that. Do your research. I'm not gonna look it up here. But that's very bullish, especially for the game and their developers, the community. I think that's super bullish for it itself. And Compete is another one I always talk about. I think Compete has just been a slow mover over the last few months. Really hasn't done crazy movements yet. But again, in my opinion, there's a lot of good things for it. We have Warped here. Like I've talked about, Warped, nothing has changed for me. They had a nice, dump right back to support here, but this is what happens when you got, a new launch and projects are just going to consolidate. They're going to chill, might go under for a while. It's just going to start moving in weird ways, until, things start really pushing for development. It's just going to take some time for this to start cracking its all-time highs, going into price discovery. And also too, real quick, I know a lot of you guys might see that I have a lot of my tokens priced in ETH versus USDT, USDC. Mainly because when you try to track certain pairs, this is on TradingView. When you go to TradingView to track certain coins and pairs, if they're only trading on Uniswap, Uniswap only will give you the token pair in the actual liquidity pool that they provide, which is going to be with ETH and their paired coin. And that is what TradingView tracks on Uniswap. Unless they have a pair, I guess, with USDC or something to the token, or the coin is on another exchange. But for the most part, a lot of coins that I cover are only on Uniswap or only on a DEX or two. So that's why if you see these coins at weird pricing, this is the coin against the price of ETH. It's not in actual USD. But mainly, that's why I still go by the market cap for the most part with pretty much all coins that I talk about. Render. I don't even talk about Ader that much, but that one's a good one. We got AIT. It looks like AIT is finally starting to move a little bit too. And there I go, frozen again. But AIT, I like this one a lot. I just made a video, I think last week or 2 weeks ago on it. AIT is definitely a play. Definitely a great move. Still frozen, that's sick. We got OLAS here too. Auto NOLAS, definitely a gem. Even though very long term. But yeah, as I've been talking about too, it's actually come down pretty nice. We could see this have a major correction, even down to $3. But this is kind of the thing I'm waiting for, guys. Is if you zoom out, look at these charts. Still, a lot of charts have a lot of downside before they really start ripping into their upside. I could see this, if this comes down $3, something like this, could pull easily something like that. I think it's just inevitable, especially for a project like this. It's really just buying in at nice dips and just, holding. Because crypto's a roller coaster itself. And I know how hard it can be to actually hold through a lot of these dips. But also, too, I want you guys to understand that, in my opinion, a dip really hasn't full out happened yet. I've seen, even on my timeline, everyone is still so bullish. And I'm very bullish long term, but like I've been telling you guys, short term, I still think heavy downside is going to be coming. I still think in between 34 to 35K, Bitcoin's gotta hit before it really decides to start moving to the upside again. That's just my thesis. I'm still holding true to that. Usually when my timeline is telling me one thing, it's usually gonna do the other. And just based off pure RSI, like I've talked about before also, We've had price movement just continue to the upside. RSI is trending down. I expect the RSI to probably get at some point oversold in between January and February. Once it hits some sort of bottom, I assume that the bottom of the dump is probably going to be in. It might pull a double bottom on the RSI, but from there, that's going to be the key indicator to know that, this was the bottom, the push down that we needed to continue into new highs, to continue to new levels, and that's mainly what I'm focusing on. I'm heavily allocated in the market still, but I'm mainly right now I'm not in, many, what do you want to call them, shit coins, or coins that I just don't believe in. I know a lot of people are trying to focus on quick flips, left and right, jumping in and out of different coins, but in my opinion, it's just stack what you can, whether in real life, at another job, work your job, save some money, whatever. Or, if you can start flipping certain coins, NFTs, making a little profit. Bottom line, just get some money and just buy and hold your favorite projects, because in a year from now, in literally 10 to 12 months, every single coin that you're buying, for the most part, especially if they're just solid projects, they're going to be up 3 to 5, 10, upwards, even 20x from where current prices are at. It's like Bitcoin is not even, it hasn't come, I don't want to say that close, but, it's starting to move, but it hasn't broken its all-time highs yet. It's not even in price discovery. It's like, and we still have the entire rip for Bitcoin just to actually hit its all-time high again, which right there alone, this move is going to be just as violent as we saw from October till, December. And as you guys have seen, many of you guys have made in between 10, 20, 30, 40 X's across the board just from this move here. Just imagine if it comes down again. This is going to be round 2. And then in price discovery, it'll be round 3. And by this point, we're going to be up 30, 50, multiple 100 X's on a bunch of projects. And at this point, anywhere up here will probably be out of the market, That's mainly my thesis going into this bull run, but obviously things are subject to change, but bottom line, that's what I'm looking at. We even had WebAI. WebAI is doing very well. This is going to be a super solid long-term hold. I called this in Discord too, around 140. It's up. It took a little while, a couple weeks, I think. But it's starting to move again. But again, WebAI is solid. They just continue to deliver. I think they're around 3 or 4 million in market cap now. But I do expect this to go multiple, even from current levels, another 10, 20, 30x minimum. But again, that's as long as they continue to deliver, they continue to keep, pushing stuff out. Nothing changes with the team. It's all high risk, but that's the risk you're taking with a lot of these micro caps, guys, and low caps. But yeah, like I've said, it's gonna be a kind of like a waiting game, even for BRC-20s too. I'm still holding, my BRC-20s, and of course it's just Bitcoin just has not been making new highs, so we haven't seen really too much movement in BRC-20s. Aside from a couple mints, I think here and there, ordinals mints too are still very hot. But yeah, BRC-20s and Bitcoin tokens, if you want to say. They haven't been doing too much, and I think mainly that's why, is because Bitcoin has just been really just consolidating for a while and just heavily going down. But again, I think over the next few months, I call it round 2, when the bull run really starts kicking off, that's going to be insane for all coins across the board on literally any chain. The whole market is just going to minimum 5 to 10x. And good micro caps with a lot of attention are going to 20, 50, probably 100x from even levels where they're at now. So it really is just get allocated into your top projects, high conviction coins. Don't be trying to trade and flip your way into, crazy gains unless you know what you're doing, unless you have a small portion of your portfolio allocated to trying to do that. But, for what it is, that's mainly what I'm focusing on. And that's all I'm waiting for, guys. Because round 2, like I've been saying, is going to be probably twice, 2 to 5 times more violent than what we saw here. So bottom line, that's what I'm going to be focusing on, what I'm looking out for. And one more thing before I end it here. As you guys can see, in my opinion, this was kind of a top signal. I think this is literally what's going to happen. But once Bitcoin really starts breaking out, well into 2024, into 2025, I think we're going to see some sort of push. I don't want to say kind of like this, but I think we're going to see Bitcoin hit this all-time high, some heavy rejection, before either A, it's just going to continue until it breaks here. And I think from here, it's either going to push very hard to the upside with minimal corrections for a while, or we're going to see, Bitcoin eventually hit here, come here, kind of chill out, drop, and then have another violent run. I don't know. I'm just kind of speculating. I'm literally just drawing on a canvas right now. There could be a million scenarios. One that I think a lot of people would never want to hear, which, is currently in play in my mind somewhat, is if Bitcoin really just cannot break its all-time highs again, or maybe it tries, fails, and this is what the bull run is. This, in my opinion, is not out of play, but do I think this is going to happen? Not really. I think that this bull run has way more steam ahead, especially with the ETF now. I think it's going to cause very heavy price surges. I think well into over 100K. My current target for the bull runs around 135K, 136K. I think if we see anywhere around that, I think it's going to be time to just, cut it short. But again, we could only see, even 80, 90K, maybe 93K is the top, And there's no telling. It's going to be very hard to predict, but bottom line, on the way up, you guys should be selling, or honestly, if price is just anywhere in this area, once it gets very, very overextended again, multiple times, that's going to be, in my opinion, probably some sort of top signal, aside from a dip. But even here, I don't think many people would predict that Bitcoin would go up this hard, come back down, and then continue to just push again and start cooking again from, July into November. That was kind of crazy, seeing the last bull run. So, really nothing's out of the question, guys, for this coming bull run. So I'm saying, especially if there is a heavy dip, that's going to be probably your best entry for the rest of the bull run. Just find the good projects, find those gems. If you guys need some gems, got it in the Patreon. I got so many great gems, that I talk about. And I'm not talking about quick moves that are going to do 10, 20x in 3 days. These are just gems throughout the bull run that I just have very high conviction in, that I do just believe are going to minimum 10, 20, 30, 40x across the board. I think it's just inevitable for so many coins. So bottom line, that's what I got for you guys today. Stay cooking, stay making some bread, do what you got to do to start getting allocated into gems, and from there, that's what I got for you guys. So I'll see you in the next one.